The conclusion of scrapbuilding definitely didn't disappoint. Honestly, I'm so excited to talk about it that we're not even gonna roll an intro. You got that editor experience? Don't you dare cut me off. Freaking jerk. Anyways, when it came to adapting the conclusion to such an amazing arc, the anime delivered in most areas. It was interesting to see Mishiro's younger self stick beside her, claiming that she could break Yuki like the rest, which subsequently led to her pushing against Yuki's assistance and rather facing death with the bees than taking her hand, which honestly speaks to both her stubbornness as a person and her internal conflict of always needing to stand at the top. Though she isn't the only one facing her conflict from this decision, as at that moment Yuki truly took a shine for Mishiro, even wanting to fight the beast so that she could escape. Honestly, this dynamic is such an amazing and interesting rivalry to see develop, and I can't wait to see how the anime handles it in the future. Also, they didn't mention it, but the reason Yuki made sure to take Mishiro's knife was because she actually excels at dual wielding. We get some insight on what this game really is through Kotoha, who other than Yuki is the only ones who have figured it out from the start of the game. The papers they were each given at the start were papers used with the same material for election ballots, along with the white dresses which are lookalikes to chitons worn in ancient Greece. Through these two objects at the beginning of the game, both her and Yuki deduced that they would have to vote out a player to their death at the end of the game, which is why Kotoha was secretly happy when she lost rock, paper, scissors and had to leave the group, and why Yuki had saved Kotoha and Mishiro initially for brownie point. And their theories were correct, as at the end of the game with them needing to vote out a player who helped the lead. Oh my god, what is that? Sorry. All that was stated in the novel was that the wolf mascot was neither cute nor ferocious, but when I read that I didn't expect puppets. Though it does fit, so I don't mind it as much. It just kind of caught me off guard. But alright, back on track. But they're told to vote for the player they believe helped the least. And when it comes to the results and the overall conclusion of the episode, that's funnily enough where my gripes with the adaptation hit the arc very hard. Now, since the arc and the overall anime adaptation started, I was always aware that the direction would always go into a more show don't tell style, which is honestly fine. They did this when adapting Ghost House, and while I also had my gripes with it, I still loved the arc overall. Though the novels for this point had a lot of important dialogue cut out, which I'd like to address. Obviously, if you've seen the episode, which if you're this far into a video, I hope you have, but Chie is the one that eventually gets voted out and killed. Chie and Kotoha would enter an alliance during their talk in the hallway and agreed to vote Kato. Kato would vote for Chie as well, and I have no idea why the anime changed her vote since it makes no sense for her to want to vote Kotoha, but I digress. Mishiro would follow the rules of the vote and deduced Chie was the one who helped out the least, as it was her, Kato, and Kotoha who had taken the dangers of leading the group through traps, and Yuki had saved both her and Kotoha at the end of the game. Though, out of all of them, Yuki made the most interesting decision. Throughout the game, you can see her beginning to collect the ballots she can. In total, she ended the game with 4. Her original ballot, the 6 players ballot, the ballot she stole from Kotoha, and the ballot within the drawer that they were all given. She would then go on to write everyone's name on a ballot and submit them at random, and it just so happened that the one with Chie's name was the one read. In an interesting way, well, mainly for the anime's way of adapting it, had Yuki's slip landed on anybody else, Kato would have been the one to perish. Speaking of perishing, another gripe dealt from how the episode handled Chie's death. The part of Chie's death that they cut out would be her distress and her screams. She desperately begs for an answer for why she must die, pleading to know if she did something wrong until she snapped. She was annoyed that they'd push all the blame on her even though their roles for leading the group were based off the luck-based rock, paper, scissors. That Kato should have been the one to die as she ran away first when Mishiro was attacked by the bees and was even laughing, before eventually cursing them with her very being. I feel like the addition of this would have characterized her so much better, as she was banging on the door that confined her until her voice slowly faded away and the banging stopped, leaving nothing but a white dress, a bow, and white fluff. Now, with that all being said, hopefully you can understand my grievances with them cutting such a scene out, and the worst part is that this isn't even the only scene I had an issue with being shafted. Well, I guess I'll admit it was a nice way to have a segue into the outro. I do feel as if they should have allowed us to hear the temper tantrum curses Mishiro shot at towards Yuki within the car, as it aided to characterize her even further as the beast prettier than anyone, someone with a noble, prestigious external side, only to internally be a narcissist shackled by her own past. And through this and her apology to Yuki, we see her gain a prosthetic arm in order to continue playing in the games and the resolve to face reality, claiming that she won't quit until she finally defeated Yuki. And also the banter that cut between Mishiro and her agent, because some of their cut dialogues were really funny to read, mostly his attempts at comedy through a helping hand joke, which Mishiro probably didn't find that entertaining at the moment. Now before I go, I saw some confusion online and wanted to clarify who the agents are, as it was cut content. After a player's second game, they are given an agent. This is to make sure that they can demonstrate that they aren't just one and dones. The individual agents each took on their own way of treating their players. Some, like Yuki's for example, do the bare minimum, which is to send them off and greet their players, while others, like Chie's in the anime, get more involved in their players' personal lives in order to push them farther, which is why Chie's agent was crying at the realization she hadn't made it through the game. Alright, I think that's all I got. Overall, this episode gets a 7 out of 10 as a novel reader, and a 10 out of 10 if I was an anime only. In my eyes, if this was the first time you experienced Shiba Yugi, then this conclusion hit all the notes it was meant to and gave astonishing results. Though if you know what was cut, it doesn't hit as hard, unless that's just my opinion. I still feel like episode 3 is the best so far within the season, and look forward to what they'll adapt next. Most people think Golden Bath is next, but I personally believe we may get Candle Woods, mostly because anime onlys won't truly know the underlying challenge of Golden Bath until Candle Woods is adapted. But that's all from me. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.